Coming up on NTC News, a new smoking bill could change the smoking age in Illinois. Find out how this affects you.
On-campus programs are working to protect students. We have the story.
And dozens of people take part in a walk downtown to support sexual assault victims. NTC News starts now.
You're watching NTC News, DeKalb County's only television news source, on the campus of Northern Illinois University and from the Northern Television Center. This is NTC News Tonight.
Hello, I'm Marlene Wences. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Jackie O'Donnell. Today is April 26th, and this is NTC News.
The Student Association is set to square off in a second election for Speaker of the Senate when the April 15 election was called into question by current Speaker of the Senate, Christine Wang. At Wednesday's Supreme Court hearing, the recent election of Naomi Bolden was ruled incomplete and a re-election will be held before Sunday. Wang argued that the election should have been declared incomplete since the majority vote had not ruled in favor of Bolden. The new election will still include Bolden, but Tristan Martin is added to the ballot. The re-election must end in a majority vote to declare a new Speaker of the Senate.
Jumping over to the Illinois Senate, a new age restriction for smoking has passed and the required age has changed from 18 to 21. This would include any nicotine-based products including e-cigarettes and vaping materials. 14 Illinois cities and counties have already raised the age for smoking with local ordinances. We went to the street to ask Huskies their thoughts on raising the smoking age.
Good thing because there's a lot of underage people buying tobacco for other people, so I'm happy they're raising the minimum age.
So I think as young people, they definitely may be abusing cigarettes a little bit too much, and even alcohol too.
I think it's great because you see a lot of kids 18 years old buying cigarettes and stuff like that, which they shouldn't be doing because it's like you see that it causes cancer. So I think it's great that they raise the age. Maybe it give people more time to think about what they're doing before they buy them.
The bill is on its way to the House for voting.
NIU's Department of Police and Public Safety has programs that help students protect themselves around campus. Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, and Evacuate Training, or better known as ALICE, is just one of those programs that teaches students what to do during an active shooting situation. NIU Police also teaches self-defense classes, performs patrols around campus, and helps stranded motorists. Sarah Rasmussen is here with NIU officer Rob Williams to talk about how students can go even further to protect themselves.
Thanks, guys. Mr. Williams, thank you so much for meeting with me today. I greatly appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Why is it important for students to take the ALICE classes?
It's important because one thing that we teach with the ALICE class is not to be paranoid, but be prepared. We want every student, every faculty, staff member to be prepared in that situation. Also, we know that the body can't go where the mind hasn't been. We do scenarios, we speak about it, we speak openly and freely about it to get people prepared in that situation and do scenarios so when they are in those tough situations, they know how to react.
It must be a very stressful situation to put people in.
Oh yeah, so when we teach the class, we always are very conscious of the language that we're using. We're conscious that it's a sensitive subject. We work hand in hand with counseling services. So anytime we teach the class, we have counseling service available. Everyone at our department, we're part of the crisis intervention team. So we can also speak to the individuals. So we try our best to not tiptoe around the subject, but be conscious that it is a sensitive subject.
Okay. I also know that for Sexual Assault Awareness Month, you guys did a self-defense class.
Correct.
What was the outcome of that event?
Oh, we teach that class throughout the year. During Sexual Assault Awareness Month, we get a lot of more requests for it. But the RAD class, Rape Aggression Defense class, real in-depth class where we go over different defense moves, is great. The one thing right now is just available for women, but it empowers them to know that they can fight back in a situation of an assault. We taught we also teach SAFE classes, which is a shorter version of that self-defense class where we teach basic moves, basic self-defense moves, strikes, punches, and kicks, and being vocal. One thing that we teach with both classes is the best thing that you have, the best weapon you have is your voice. Your voice is being heard. So that's one thing that kind of overlaps with both of those classes, but it was great. I think we got to a lot of people also.
Okay, so is it the best way for students to protect themselves is using their voice?
Yes, using their voice and just being aware of their surroundings. Yeah.
Okay. What are some other programs your department has to help the students?
Oh, we have many programs. The main thing that we often push our Husky Safe Line to use, because we don't want individuals walking out there at night alone. Our Safe Walk service, people work with us to walk with students. And then also with my unit, the Community Oriented Policing and Strategy Unit, we get out there, we do programming. We think that's the best way. Get out there programming and actually speak to the students about these tough subjects.
Okay, yeah. Well, thank you so much for being with me. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Back to you guys at the desk.
If there are any questions or concerns about the NIU Police Department, you can visit their website or call the office.
Former comedian and TV icon Bill Cosby has been convicted this morning on 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault. 13 years ago, a deposition Cosby gave admitting to giving sedatives to women before having sex was brought to the court's attention, again during his retrial earlier this week. A parade of accusers also spoke in the court recounting the alleged assaults they had with the comedian. Cosby was convicted of drugging and sexually assaulting Andrea Constant in Philadelphia in 2004 when she visited his home for career advice. The 80-year-old actor faces up to 10 years in prison on each account and would likely serve them concurrently. Cosby's bail is set at $1 million because the court considers him a flight risk.
Sexual assault and violence is a problem that got people in DeKalb out on the streets to protest and help raise awareness. The Egyptian Theater hosted Safe Passage's Take Back the Night event, where people around the community gathered together to share their stories. The community marched from the Egyptian Theater and around the block to Walgreens, where they paused for a moment and chanted in unison. Safe Passage is DeKalb County's domestic violence and rape crisis center that has counseling for rape, violence, and sexual assault victims. Sexual assault advocate Jasmine Peace shares one of the most common misconceptions of sexual assault and violence victims.
I think one that I see a lot is that people think the fight or flight response comes in. A lot of times it's freeze. People they freeze. Your brain doesn't know what to do. A lot of times they're like, I don't remember, like I wanted to do something and I couldn't. So I think it's important to let survivors know like that's a normal response.
This is one of many Safe Passages events throughout the DeKalb County area. For more information about upcoming events, check out their website at safepassagedv.org.
It has been a beautiful couple of days on campus. Hopefully the weather will continue to stay warm. Jacob, is the weather teasing us or is spring finally here?
Well, it's safe to say that spring is finally here as we see the temperatures warming up even more over the next several days. So get out and enjoy the weather because it is definitely here to stay. More details will be coming up in just a little bit. Back to you guys.
Next on Ntc News, Autism Awareness Month is coming to an end, but the impact it has is endless. We have more on this important month.
A former president is in critical condition. We have the latest.
And a new program is making it easier to get around campus. Stay with us.
You got a king?
Go fish!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Autism Awareness Month is almost over, but that didn't stop news reporter Sarah Rasmussen from finding out who's been behind some of the events. She followed a group who has been busy raising awareness for autism all month.
Communicative Disorders Student Association, known as ComDSA, is determined to raise more than awareness for autism this month. ComDSA is selling donuts, cookies, and other sweet treats to raise money for the cause. The group is also passing out bracelets, ribbons, and flyers for Autism Awareness Month. Communicative disorders find ways to treat and prevent language and hearing development issues. ComDSA President Cassidy Van Zulden says people with disabilities should be treated just like everyone else.
It's really important for the community to be aware of people with disabilities and to advocate for them and just spread awareness that to accept them as individuals.
The association volunteers with places who help people and children with disabilities often, like Opportunity House. Treasurer Rebecca Salazar says ComDSA helps those majoring in communicative disorders get more involved.
It allows everyone to be inclusive of people who are different, and I think difference is great. You know, like if everyone were the same, then it'd be a boring world.
The association also volunteers during different events around the community. This weekend, they tried something new.
ComCSA took a break from Autism Awareness Month to come out and help with NIU Cares Day.
The group raked paths and painted fences and statues for a retired NIU employee. Some of the girls also helped replace bricks for a walkway. The association welcomes anyone who wants to join. From Ntc News, I'm Sarah Rasmussen.
ComDSA just had their last meeting for the semester, but will resume next fall, led by their new president, Rebecca Salazar.
This week in politics, a historic meeting takes place in Korea.
And a former president lands in the hospital. Carl Ruby has this story in this week's Political Pit Stop.
Thanks, guys. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is set to meet with the South Korean president tomorrow morning. Kim will meet with Moon Jae-in in the southern half of the demilitarized zone, marking the first summit between the two nations since 2007. They are expected to discuss denuclearization, the improvement of bilateral relations, and a formal peace settlement. Analysts will be paying close attention to the results of the meeting, as they could indicate what is to be expected in Kim's planned meeting with President Donald Trump. That meeting is set to take place in late May or early June. EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt is testifying before the House of Representatives today. Mr. Pruitt has faced repeated criticism over his mishandling of funds over the past year. He will be answering questions regarding multiple allegations over his spending habits and will also be discussing the EPA's budget. The allegations he will be responding to include building a soundproof booth for his office, approving raises for staffers, and spending extravagantly on his personal security detail. As of now, the hearing is ongoing. President Trump hosted French President Emmanuel Macron at the White House this week. Macron arrived for his first state visit on Monday and discussed a number of key issues with President Trump during his three-day stay. The two leaders disagreed on several of them, including climate change and the Iran nuclear deal. Macron believes the U.S. will eventually rejoin the Paris Climate Agreement it left last year, and insisted that the nuclear deal should not be abandoned until something more substantial is brought to the table. Trump reiterated his distrust of the deal and responded to allegations that Iran would restart its nuclear program should the U.S. pull out of the deal.
It won't be so easy for them to restart. They're not going to be restarting anything. They restart it, they're going to have big problems, bigger than they've ever had before. And you can mark it down. They restart their nuclear program, they will have bigger problems than they have ever had before.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel will be the next foreign leader to visit the United States tomorrow. Finally, former President George H.W. Bush is recovering from sepsis in Houston. The 41st President of the United States was put into intensive care on Sunday, just a day after his wife's funeral. At the time, the 93-year-old was in critical condition. His condition appears to have stabilized since, as he was moved into a regular patient room yesterday. He is expected to stay at the hospital for several more days. That's all for this week's Political Pit Stop. Back to you.
An NIU employee is facing up to 5 years in prison for allegedly cutting a man's neck in a bar fight. Police say Anthony Sozin attended a party last year that ended with Sozin and the victim being kicked out. Sozin says he had a small folding knife that he was swinging during the fight, which wounded the victim 5 times. Sozin was released on a $1,000 bail and, if convicted, could face up to 5 years in prison.
3 NIU alumni are offering opportunities for political science students. John Klein, Chris Nelson, and John Brandon are among the alumni who are providing internships, serving as mentors to students in the program. Nelson says serving as a mentor helps establish a greater connection to the university, along with overseeing the operations of the Husky Line through the student government. The chair of the department believes because of the volunteers are an important part of the political science department. The department is opening doors to students in the public and private sectors by providing professional development. Now that spring's finally here, I wonder if spring showers will follow.
Jacob, are we in for a damp finals week, or is the sun here to stay?
Well, we'll see a little bit of both over the next couple of days. We'll see some rain and we'll see some clear days. As we look at today, we'll see partly cloudy skies with a slight chance of a rain shower overnight. We'll see a high of 64 and a low of 42 with just 5 to 10 mile-per-hour winds. And as we look at tomorrow, we'll see some rain, mainly in the afternoon with some cloudy skies in the morning. We'll see a high of 65 and low of 36 with 15 to 20 mile-per-hour winds. And get ready for some rain because there is an 80% chance of precipitation. And as we look at Saturday, we'll see partly cloudy skies and slightly colder weather, but nothing too bad. We'll see a high of just 53 and a low of 31. And as we look into Sunday, we'll see beautiful skies, sunny conditions with a high of 61 and a low of 42. We'll generally see just calm weather with winds just 5 to 10 miles per hour. And as we look at the week ahead, we'll see temperatures rise even more to get up above 70 degrees. We'll see a high of 72 on Monday, a high of 77 on Tuesday, and a high of 71 on Wednesday with some rain in the forecast. Back to you guys.
Those looking for a quick way to get across campus now will have a free bike until the end of the year. A new bike sharing program, VO Ride, begins this week, which allows a quick and convenient bike rental. The program allows its riders to rent bikes through their app on the Apple Store or Google Play. The first month of use will be free, which is followed by 3 months of a discounted rate at 30 cents per 15 minutes, and then rises to 15 cents. The VO Ride CEO believes this will help students lacking transportation to get from place to place here at NIU.
It's the easiest way to get around campus, and the pricing is reasonable. And we can also encourage people to live on a healthy lifestyle, and they reduce the carbon footprint for the planet.
The bike sharing program will hopefully eliminate 240 tons of carbon dioxide every year.
Coming up on Ntc News, 4 fraternities are left competing for the top spot in one of the campus's oldest traditions. We have more.
A team on campus is sprinting and jumping into the MAC championships. Find out which one.
And a local art exhibit is featuring pieces that are from India. We will tell you what they mean to the Indian culture. These stories and more next on Ntc News.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? It may be too late to check when you're on the road. Fortunately, you're on the couch. Don't think you know. Know you know.
An NIU tradition that started more than 50 years ago is back. NIU's Interfraternity Council kicked off their annual week-long tugs event Monday at University Plaza, and only 4 top-seeded teams are left on the road fighting for first place. The tournament will continue today at 4:30 p.m. with Phi Kappa Psi competing with Phi Kappa Theta and Sigma Alpha Epsilon taking on last year's champs, Phi Kappa Theta. The winners of both matches will face off in the championship Saturday at 1 p.m.
It has been a busy week in the world of Husky sports.
Let's send it over to NTC reporter Brandon Giese, who will update you with the latest in Husky athletics.
Temperatures are heating up, and so are the Huskies. NIU Athletics has had a very successful week, so let's swing into the action. The baseball team completely destroyed their NAIA opponent, Robert Morris University, yesterday in a 20-2 victory. Huskies set a season-high 19 hits in their 6th win in the last 7 games. A handful of players had home runs and multiple RBIs, a streak they hope to continue as they go back into MAC play tomorrow afternoon. NIU will travel to Muncie, Indiana for a 3-game series against Ball State University. The softball team is coming off of a huge sweep of the Eastern Michigan Eagles this past weekend. After 6 consecutive losses, the Huskies could not have picked a better time to face the worst team in the MAC West. Huskies' MAC record improved to an even 8-8. The softball team will host the Western Michigan Broncos in a special weekend as they honor the 1988 World Series team and 60 years of Husky softball. Track and field had yet another successful outing this past weekend at the Michael Johnson Invitational. Junior jumper Javania White once again broke her own record. This time around, she jumped an impressive 13.42 meters, which moved her into the NCAA top 10. This marks the 3rd time this season in which she's broken the school's triple jump record. Javania is happy with her results and believes practice makes perfect.
And try to give 110% in practice because that's where it all starts from. You have to train hard if you want to see good results.
Record-setting performances as Javania and the rest of the team head to Des Moines, Iowa for the Drake Relays this weekend. The men's golf team will begin the MAC Championship in Fort Wayne, Indiana tomorrow. So far, the Huskies have had a great season, led by redshirt senior Ju Young Lee. The team has finished 8 top 10 finishes. Sycamore Hills Country Club will play host for this year's championship, a course that will command the best of all competitors. The event will tee off early tomorrow. And in the national spotlight, the first round of the NFL draft starts tonight. It's not a surprise that the first pick belongs to the Cleveland Browns after a winless season. It seems that they are in the market for a quarterback, but it is unclear which prospect they like most. I'm a Baker Mayfield fan myself. The draft will start live starting at 7 p.m. on several channels, including Fox and ABC. That's all for NTC Sports. Tune in to Top Shelf Sports tomorrow for more on Husky athletics. Back to the desk, and remember, go Huskies.
An art exhibit which opened up this month is turning heads towards the problems the Indian culture has. The exhibit is helping understand the shifting history, culture, and religion in the region. NTC reporter Ryan Naughton has had a cultural experience at the exhibit.
A new art exhibit which opened up in the Art Museum shows off the painful history of the Middle East and, more importantly, India. The exhibit is currently following a theme occurring at the NIU Art Exhibit.
Artwork from India and South Asia. There's a lot of students from that part of the world here at this campus, and so we felt like it would be appropriate to represent that part of the world through the culture and the arts, through what we show here at the Art Museum.
The largest piece at the exhibit is made out of soot and cardboard, which has a strong meaning back in India.
For using something like soot is that it's very imprecise.
One student became connected to the piece after setting it up for the exhibit.
So what I had to do is take nails and kind of mark the different placements of them and then put them into place. So I got to experience a very intimate kind of connection with this piece.
The Art Museum is hoping for more students to come in and have a connection with the exhibit and the art pieces. The exhibit, which is open to the public, runs until the end of the summer. I'm Ryan Nunn from NTC News.
The theme of the gallery is following different cultures from around the world, including Southeast Asia and India. That's it for NTC News. Tune in on Monday for our 5-minute news update.
We're going to leave you now with the sounds of artist Jim Canis singing Muddy Waters. It will air Thursday night at 7 on 89.5 FM and WNIJ.org.
Take care, everyone.
Morning light shows water in the valley. Daddy's grave just went below the line. Thinks he's safe, can't take him with you, 'cause mud'll swallow.